Unless you have literally been living under a rock, I'm sure you've heard of keto. Maybe you've tried keto. Maybe you have friends who have tried keto. And let's just be honest, friends don't let friends keto. Right? That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about the keto diet. Should you do it? Should you not? Why or why not? So you don't want to miss this. Strap in and get ready for episode 080. Let's go.
I've always been that skinny guy.
Why can't I gain muscle mass?
What do I do in the gym?
They said I'd always be skinny.
This is your complete source for how to gain lean muscle and break out of your skinny body. From nutrition to getting the most out of your workouts and everything in between. We know just how frustrating gaining muscle mass can be, but don't worry, we've got you covered. You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast. Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody and I will be your host today. And yeah, I'm excited to dive into this episode because people get really passionate about keto. It's another level. It really is. And I don't quite understand how or why it's such a huge movement, but it is. And so we're definitely going to address it and talk about it and get all the information out, right? Because that's what this podcast is all about. But before I dive into it, if you've not been to bonestobulk.com, please go there. I have a free training that I put together for you. It's a one-on-one. I sit down over a video and I tell you flat out like what you need to do to start gaining muscle and what mistakes not to fall into. So it's about 20 minutes long. All you have to do, go to bonestobulk.com. You'll see it right there on the homepage. You cannot miss it. Like you just can't. Click the button, put in your email address, and it's delivered to your inbox. How easy is that? So go do that right now. Unless you're driving, then just do it later. All right, let's get into today's topic. So keto, where do I even begin? Before I kind of get into my own personal feelings, let's kind of break down the body's cell structure. Our dry cells are made up of proteins, lipids, which are fats, carbohydrates, and nucleic acids. Those are kind of those make up the bulk of our dry cell structure. So by depriving ourselves of carbohydrates, we're literally keeping something from our body that is naturally like a building block for our cells. So right off the bat, that should kind of give an indication of where I'm headed with this. Keto, for all intents and purposes, let me say this. If someone follows keto very strictly and does everything by the book, guess what? You're going to see results. You will. Honest to God, you will see results if you follow it to the book. But what I've seen time and time again is people get on the keto diet and have really good results, and then they go back to their old lifestyle. They start incorporating carbs again, and they go back either to square one or they go even further back. And at that point, you're discouraged because you've seen progress and then you've lost it all. And so you're often thinking, well, crap, maybe I'm just destined to be this way and I can't, get the results I want. No, that's not it at all. It's that keto is like any other restrictive diet in that it does not lay a foundation for healthy eating for life. Let's be realistic. If you're one of those people that literally just wants to never eat a carb again, then sure, go keto. Like, do it. But realistically, is that, like, are you never going to go without a carb again? I mean, there's so many things made up of carbs. And I'm not here to say go order 12 pizzas from Domino's because, yeah, there are a lot of bad carbs out there, a lot of them. And especially, like, our diet consists of way too much carbs. Absolutely. I'm 100% in agreement with that. However, there are also a lot of good carbs. Carbohydrates, when you're bodybuilding, when you're doing anything active, they're the body's first choice for energy. So let's say you decide to go run around in circles in your front yard for whatever reason. Your body has to get that energy from somewhere, right? And let's say your body has a surplus of fat, carbohydrates, and protein. Guess what it's picking for that energy source? It's picking carbohydrates first. because they're readily available and it provides a great deal of energy. And so when we're lifting weights every day, we need that energy. We need those bursts to get us through our lifts and our repetitions and our sets. And so by depriving ourselves of carbohydrates, we're doing ourselves a disservice to our lifting. And I know a big argument is, well, I feel so good not eating carbs. Absolutely. But do you know why? It's not because you're not eating any carbs. It's because you're not eating all the crap carbs. Like anything with white flour in it, like white bread, white pastas, those are so heavy and those will literally drag us down. So I get why people will feel better when they cut out carbs completely, because they're cutting out all that garbage, all the refined sugars, all the just terrible stuff out there for you. So what should you be eating? How should you be eating? Well, I firmly believe that you need to be eating from all food groups. You need healthy fats, you need healthy proteins, and you need healthy carbohydrates. Now, in opposition to that, there are bad foods in all those food groups, just like there are good foods in all those food groups. There's no just food group out there that you need to just dismiss altogether. And I just want to caveat off that, like if you're a vegetarian or if you're gluten intolerant, like that's a whole nother ballgame, and there's nothing wrong with those things. And I get that, but I'm not diving into that in this episode. And I personally do not follow a vegetarian diet, although again, there's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people who lift who are killing it on a vegetarian diet. So nothing against that, but I firmly believe that you need to be eating from all food groups. So what kind of carbohydrates should you be eating? Well, for starters, I kind of mentioned some you need to avoid, and let's kind of go down that list. Typically, the things you definitely want to stay away from are most of your cereals, white bread, white pasta, anything like donuts, pizza. I'm listing some big ones here, but think about anything with a grain in it that is unhealthy. Like those are what we want to steer clear of. There's a lot of things that are even touted as healthy that typically aren't. A lot of your protein bars aren't all that healthy. There are some really good ones out there, but a lot of them are just loaded with sugar and unhealthy carbs. So check your wrapper before purchasing that. But carbohydrates that you want to be consuming are oats, whole grain wild rice or brown basmati rice or brown jasmine rice, sweet potatoes, red potatoes, lots of vegetables because all veggies fall under the carbohydrate category, quinoa, whole wheat pasta, whole wheat breads. All these are great things that will fuel your body and will get you towards your goal. They will help out. So don't be fearful of carbohydrates. Don't buy into the keto diet that you have to do, because I'm telling you what, a couple years down the road, keto is going to be out and something else is going to be in. You know why? Because it's a fad diet, like every other diet that comes along. And so I don't want you to jump on the bandwagon just because everybody's doing it and people are swearing by it, because yeah, it may work temporarily, but it's not teaching you anything that you can carry with you for a lifetime. You're not learning how to eat from all food groups naturally, and it's something that's sustainable. And that's just it. If you can't sustain something, then why do it? If you know that you're going to eat carbs again, why do keto? Why put yourself through that of doing this huge restriction and then go back to the way you were eating? You're not learning anything. You're not doing your body a service. So instead, start cutting out unhealthy items from your food. So the unhealthy fats, the unhealthy proteins, the unhealthy carbohydrates, start eliminating those one at a time. It doesn't have to be cold turkey. Like start cutting out a few of those things and start adding in healthy items as a replacement, and eat the right amount of calories from all those food groups, and you're going to see the results you want. And it's going to be something sustainable, because if you don't like what you're eating, then you're not going to stick with it. And so when you have all the food groups to pick from, you have more variety, you have more things that you can choose that you are going to enjoy when it comes to your food. So I hope you have found this helpful. I just really wanted to touch on the keto because, again, it is so hugely popular. If you If you are an avid listener or you get a lot out of the podcast, please go leave us a review on iTunes. That helps with our ranking so that we can spread this message to more people. And that's ultimately my whole goal in life, is just to try to educate as many people as possible. So if you've got a couple minutes, I would hugely appreciate you dropping a review on iTunes. Write a review, leave us a rating. Greatly, greatly appreciate that. Remember, no matter what obstacles you're facing, what pressure you're getting from other people to do diets, stay the course, do what you know you should be doing, because you have got this.